Santo Domingo is the capital of Dominican Republic, and often one of the first places foreigners visit in the country. This is my final stop before heading home to Puerto Rico, and I'm already looking forward to coming back and spending more time in this beautiful city, and of course, exploring more of this incredible island. Zona Colonial may invoke a feeling of deja vu for visitors that have also been to Viejo San Juan, which is Old San Juan in Puerto Rico. A prominent statue of Christopher Columbus is front and center here, and Puerto Rico also has a matching tribute at their Colón Plaza. Christopher Columbus visited Dominican Republic in 1492, and it was another year before he would find his way to Puerto Rico in November 1493. Organized tours are starting to come through this morning. Last night, these streets were filled with people. They were eating, drinking, shopping, wandering and exploring the old city streets. As a former Spanish colony, the old city is Spanish colonial architecture. Signs are written in Spanish, and Spanish is the official language. The specific dialect is known as Dominican Spanish, which is not exactly the Castilian Spanish from Spain, and it's still not quite the dialect spoken in Mexico either. The old town architecture of Santo Domingo and Old San Juan share the same bright colors and Spanish colonial flair. Located side by side in the Caribbean, both border the Atlantic Ocean on the northern coast and Caribbean Sea on the other sides. Both have the lush tropical foliage and the same tropical climate. There is significant overlap of the food that can be grown on both islands and the main ingredients used for both local cuisines. The Zona Colonial buildings in Santo Domingo date back to the 1500s, when a hurricane wiped out the original Santo Domingo in June of 1502. This prompted a short relocation to this more protected area behind the Ozama River, and the buildings we see now are a result of the rebuilding efforts. Our hotel was built as part of the 1502 architectural building boom. Designated as an UNESCO World Heritage Site, it's located just off Calle de Damas, with easy walking access around the colonial zone of the old city. The close proximity allowed me to take an afternoon pool break after walking all morning around the colonial zone. Just beyond the wall of the city is the passenger and cargo ferry that travels between Santo Domingo and San Juan, Puerto Rico. The ferry travels 13 hours overnight for a mini one-night cruise in the Atlantic Ocean between islands. Flights are under an hour and typically cost around $150 each way, or right around $300 round trip. The ferry is slightly lower priced at $200 per person round trip. Our hotel and the majority of the colonial zone are well maintained and felt sort of like time has slowed down here. The history of the area is apparent with subtle details around the property. Points of interest are marked with bilingual placards like this one for the old on-site well. Any changes or improvements maintain the historic integrity and preserve the original architecture vision, not just in our hotel, but throughout the colonial zone. After our pool break and lunch, there were still a few more hours to explore before heading to the nearby airport. The Museo De La Cassis is now home to a museum dedicated to the royal houses. Originally built as two interconnected buildings in 1511 for the main offices of the government, including the first court of the Spanish crown, and later used by viceroys and governors. The old colonial canons are positioned facing out to the Ozama River. Throughout the centuries, the facade has received various style facelifts. Then it was restored to its original 16th century appearance in the 1970s, where it reopened as a history museum showcasing the life and customs of the inhabitants as a Spanish colony. Tours are offered daily in English and Spanish. Just try to plan a little bit better than I did. Plaza De Espana is the main square of the colonial zone. It's home to many restaurants and cafes, plus the city's many museums displaying notable medieval and Renaissance art. Saturday night, this entire area was filled with people, dancing, dining, music, and mingling. This square is practically deserted when we return the next day. Our 24 hours in Santo Domingo was packed with dining, dancing, drinking, swimming, shopping, and aimlessly wandering the historic plaza. I'm amazed at how much we were able to see just walking around in our short 24 hours in the city. There is so much more to explore in Dominican Republic and the city of Santo Domingo for my next visit. Thanks for joining me in Santo Domingo Colonial Zone. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Caribbean adventures from JenThereDoneThat.